Welcome to another episode of the Card Authority podcast. It's been a crazy week, and let's jump straight into it tonight. Don't know what's going on there with my phone. Anyway, let's bring in the one and only, the other AJ. Is it AJ1? Is it AJ2? Oh, geez, it's a new camera angle there, Jenks. Looking very sharp.
Yes, sir. We've got a whole new rig going on here, and unfortunately, part of the reason why we're late tonight is because I have been trying to get it all up and running properly. So my apologies in advance to everyone out there that, we may have AJ2 cutting out a few times this evening. So AJ1 will be taking the reins in that sense.
Well, I'll try. And I've just noticed too, we've got a nice little sort of inverted yin and yang color going on. My white shirt with your black, my black background with your white. I don't know how that happened, but that's going to get real messy on replay. Mate, so apart from obviously fighting with all the technical bugs this week, how's your week been? How's week one of Supremacy? Have you got every single Seb Ross card?
You mean Brilliance?
Brilliant. See, that's the week I've had. I'm just so fried from all of it. Yeah, have you got every Seb Ross card?
I don't have every Seb Ross card yet. I'm still looking out for the 01 and the jumper number 06, but I do fortunately have an 03 in my possession. And
nice.
I have I think one more on the way, and I've got a couple of Bulldogs. Still looking for a low number Bulldog though.
Well, number one actually came out about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago.
I did see that, so I did drop a little sneaky comment on the post where I saw that come out, and I'll let those guys enjoy it before I slide into their DMs and see if I can get things done there.
Well, yes, I'm sure you will slide, and I'm sure they will slide into you, and I'm guessing you've probably been tagged about 15 times in that post if I had to have a bit of a crack at it.
Several tags.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise it's been a really good week. It's been interesting. Obviously, this is a brand new release, something we're certainly not used to in terms of the timing of the release, unless it was some sort of Christmas thing. And obviously the quality of the release, and it's something new altogether, different format, $150 box, single card box, 180 points, steel frame, comes in a one touch, such limited print run, 2,100 cards. So a lot of aspects that are very unprecedented, and the market, it's still ongoing, the being able to pass judgment on where this is going to sit sort of long term. But as expected, it came out very, very high. So higher highs and higher lows is the way I see it. We're going through the natural progression of the waves of the market of what will happen every release and continue to happen. Things come out high. People who urgently want to get sets done pay a premium price early on. It then starts to dip off a bit because people need to recoup some funds or generate some sales or trades or whatever it may be to then get their other cards. And you've obviously got a lot of speculators who have moved in here. Then we'll have the bargain hunting and the more set collectors move in as the numbers start to reach, the price levels that they would like to purchase at. That removes stock off the market, creates more demand, and up the prices go again. And Supremacy, as you mispronounced before, is a great example of exactly that. It was a brand new release, came out really hot, then it dropped off significantly, and right now everyone's kicking themselves going, wow, I wish I could still get it at what it was around release when we thought it was high. So, yeah.
Yep. And Kelly, hello. And obviously, slide away into those DMs, Adam. You've been given the carte blanche.
I'm approved. One other thing I might just add quickly is the unknown factor, and the one different factor this time to every other release is the fact that there's only 2,100 cards. So the market depth is going to thin out a lot quicker than anyone has anticipated, in the same way that where there would normally be thousands of cards on eBay, I think there's about 180 odd at the moment, and there's only been about 500 that have moved through eBay overall, whether listed, sold, or removed off the market or unsold. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's completely different scales that we've certainly experienced before or seen before. I guess, look, before I give you my take, it's been thrown around a few times in the last couple of days, and I think we asked this same question when Dominix was on. What percentage of these boxes do you think have been opened now? It feels like a big chunk of the mail has probably arrived by this stage.
Yeah, I'd say I still don't think half, not even not even half would have been opened yet. I still reckon only about 35%, 30,
Right.
35% has actually been opened. I think there's maybe another 20 to 30% that will be getting opened in the coming days. And then I think that remaining 40 odd percent is going to be coming out over the next couple of months, whether it's in breaks or secondary market resale of sealed stock. The recurring theme seems to be there's more sealed stock selling on eBay than there is single cards, like that
Yeah.
are actually selling through. So people are still paying $450 to $550 for a box, but they don't want to pay that price for a card. So it's indicative that people are either buying it to sit on it or buying it to break it, really, I suppose.
Yeah. So look, I don't know. I was probably, and there were a couple of threads, that were floating around that I sort of alluded to. If you asked me 2 or 3 days ago, I thought definitely under half. I don't know. I feel like a little bit more has been exposed in the last 24 hours. I feel like there were some big chunks of mail, and again, it's hard to sort of look. It's hard to quantify it, but yeah, I don't know. I may be reevaluating my original decision. I think perhaps a little bit more has been open than I thought. But there's still plenty. There is still plenty that has not been touched. We obviously know a few people that have got a few boxes that through different parts of the network, and yeah, there's still plenty. There's still plenty. But as Sean's just mentioned there, I've definitely noticed a lot more of the bigger cards and the notable cards have come out in the last couple of days, the O1s and the jumper numbers, whereas it felt like for the first couple of days we really didn't see many of those at all.
Sure, but at the same time though, like how many of those number ones do you think you've really seen pop up? Because there's 42 of them.
Mm.
Do you think you've seen 10, 20? Like to me, I've seen maybe a handful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably fair.
Let's be generous and say we've seen 10. Yeah, let's be generous and say we've seen 10 0-1s pop out. Well, that's 25%. So 24%. So I feel like maybe it seems like more has come out than it actually has. eBay, as I said, the eBay turnover is only 450 to 500 total single cards, which again accounts for about 20 to 25%. A lot of what we've seen on Facebook.
Yeah, Trigger. Look, there's no exact number to work on it, and we talked about this a little bit on a thread the other day. You can sort of do some quick sort of estimates from volume of eBay, both listed and sold, sort of volumes on Facebook. Again, there's no exact number. We don't know every box that's been opened, but you can get a fair guide of what probably has been opened. But yeah, the short answer is there's no exact method to know.
No, but we're looking at a few of those different data sets. So exactly right. We've got that. We're tracking eBay very closely since release, both completed, uncompleted, and current. And then we're tracking Facebook across a multitude of different pages. We're not going to give you what we've got, but we certainly have a spreadsheet that's keeping track of every card that is visibly coming out. And there's obviously a percentage that we add on top of that for people who are not showing what they've got. Now, given most people were very limited in what they could purchase here, our expectation is that someone isn't busting 5 cases and only showing the hits from 2 cases. If someone's showing 2 cards, 4 cards, it's generally most likely what they've got or that they've opened. And if they happen to get more, they're probably reselling the sealed stock. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So look, I guess winding the conversation back a little bit, I haven't experienced, I wasn't, involved heavily when Supremacy was around. I have been absolutely, and we've talked about this privately, but I've been absolutely overwhelmed by the general positive sentiment that this release has brought out. I felt like there was a ton of negativity when Dominance came. It feels like, definitely for the first few days, everyone was excited. It didn't matter what their hits were. It didn't matter what they were getting. Everyone was celebrating with everyone's boxes or cards that they were getting. And it was just generally a really good vibe in the community. I think there was probably an element of people were waiting and their own anticipation of what they were going to get, and positive thoughts and all that kind of stuff. But that's definitely been a surprising upside to what I've noticed in this first week. I didn't quite expect it to be as strong as I expected. You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
that's been a really, really nice benefit of the community.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been positive from the get-go. I think the way the release was done, as we discussed last episode, was it's really smart in terms of the staggering. Although yes, it has its downside, but in terms of the bots and people double dipping and stuff, I think overall, for 98% of the people that I'm aware of that wanted to purchase this product got this product, and there were a few that bought more off the secondary market as well, or had that plan from the get-go. So I think generally there was a lot of positivity around the fact that people were able to order it, and then there's been really positive as it's arrived to people and they've taken those cards out. There's some amazing videos of people busting their stock.
Daniel
There's some
Daniel
great
just
photos.
commented that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's just some awesome stuff, and thank you to everyone who's been getting involved on the Good Vibes page and on the Card Authority page, posting up all your photos and videos and stuff like that. It's what it's all about. Like, the physical cards are only one aspect of it. It's everything that's involved in getting those cards, and then the emotional aspects of enjoying it. And now with a release like this, everyone knows something premium's coming out of that box. It's what's it going to be, and yeah, it's amazing stuff. So yeah, the hobby is definitely a buzz at the moment, and you can feel it. Like, you can feel the vibe big time, but you can also see that vibe in numbers, as you know. So yeah.
Yep. So let me ask you a question. Obviously, you're certainly a more experienced member in this community. Would you say this release has been good for business? And when I say business, not so much the select side of things, but do you think people are getting the cards they want? Do you think deals are getting done? Where do you think the overall the vibe, I guess, has it been good for transactions, or has it been a little bit of a mirage?
I think
Well, of course, we've lost Jenks, which we expected. Hopefully, he'll bounce back in 2 seconds. As we did say at the top of the show, in the mean streets of Glen Iris, they're still on dial-up. So, yeah, look, obviously, we were just talking about whether or not there's been a lot of deals done, and already people sort of posting through, deals that they've done and stuff in the comments. I definitely think that there seems to be a lot of cards for sale. It seems in the early days, lots of deals got done, lots of cards seem to be sold and moved over. I wonder how many trades are actually being done, and certainly mention in the comments whether you've been lucky enough to do any trades at all and receive the cards that you want. I know personally I'm, still trying to track down some Richmond cards, but having some fantastic conversations with people, and, everyone wants to get the best deal for themselves and ideally get the cards they want. So hopefully that will continue on, and, everyone ends up with a card that they want. But there's going to be some situations where people don't get what they want. And unfortunately, that's the nature of the card business, that if everyone got everything they wanted, well, I mean, yeah, it just wouldn't be happening. So look, obviously lots of questions coming through. Jenks is still somewhere floating around in cyberspace, so hopefully he'll come back at at some point. Yeah, and look, Peter, you make a great point there. $100, $150 for a guaranteed case hit is absolutely great value. Jenks mentioned it just before, that people go in box breaks and all those sorts of things hoping to get a case hit. Well, you're guaranteed to get that hit when you open a box of Brilliance. So that's great. Yeah, Tim, that's a good point. Trades have all been dried up a little bit. That's kind of what I was leading to as well. I thought in the early days lots of trades got done, but it feels like perhaps as the days are going on and more people have got what they want, and probably the value has been determined a little bit more, that not as many trades are being done. But yeah, look, let's hope people keep getting trades done. Michael, got a trade done. Will start to be a lot of 3 or 4 way trades. Yeah, I absolutely agree too. I think obviously there's the top level of cards, the Dusties and the big Collingwood cards and the jumpers and stuff like that, which are harder to get deals done. But it's good to see a lot of the sort of mid-range and lower range cards getting done. I've seen lots of, Port Adelaide for Adelaide trades, which has been brilliant because, obviously most Port and Adelaide supporters don't really think a lot of each other. So it's nice that those deals are getting done. I've also seen sort of, Jenks is coming back to us now. I've also noticed too that a lot of people have been offering 2 cards for 1 card trades. Jenks, we're just talking about the amount of trades that are being done certainly in the first couple of days. So yeah, look, and look, Cherry just made a good point there. Lots of trades, stuff like that. So that's really good. Look, a bit of an under. Oh, sorry, Jenks, you look like you were going to say something.
So sorry, whilst I was off in attempting to get back into cyberspace again, back into orbit. So was the consensus just now that there was a lot of trading happening, or there hasn't been a lot of trading happening? Because I feel like there hasn't been as much as what I've anticipated beforehand. However, upon reflection, everyone's only for the most part got 2 cards or 4 cards. So how much trading can really happen?
Tim made a good point here that there seemed to be a lot of trading in the first couple of days. But probably that's dried up a little bit now as people have established what value is, and they might have already got their cards, things like that. And Don, that's exactly what I sort of talked about too, about the Crows and Ports guys seem to be doing a bit of trades between each other, which is fantastic. So look, I guess there's a few, we'll move on, we won't recap it. Obviously Jax can watch the show later, as he always does. David Hunter's just saying too that he got a trade done for both his Hawks cards, which is fantastic. And look, keep sending through your messages if you have been able to get your trades done. That's fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about damage. And as I sort of said in on one of the posts during the last couple of days, there has been some damage on some of the cards. And when we say on some of the cards, there seems to the general consensus that I've been hearing from people is that perhaps the gold frame is not quite at the level that they feel that they're happy with. Some are certainly a lot worse than others. I've also seen a couple too where it looks like it looks like a little mark in the bottom corner. A lot of those times it's actually just a little bit of glue resin that does actually move, or it's a scratch on the one touch. But there definitely has been some damage questions and photos floating around. Have you experienced that with any of your cards, Jenks, or just hearing it secondhand?
Yeah, no, I have. I definitely noticed. I noticed, early on, and commented on it, obviously on Facebook as well, that there looked to be a combination of, but maybe glue resin or internal scratching on the one touches, or maybe some scuffing on the borders as well. In saying that, I think some of it is certainly warranted that it will need to be looked at to be replaced, but I think some of it also is to be expected almost to an extent with this type of product as well. As I know with regards to international product like NBA and whatnot, people tend not to necessarily grade the really thick cards and the relic cards and things like that, because the way they are produced and the way they're printed and constructed, that's the way they're constructed, but 2, they're susceptible to minor scuffing and minor damage and stuff like that as well. So something to be a bit conscious of. So I've looked at my cards at this stage. I can see little bits and pieces that I could really nitpick, but I think a lot of it's internal case related stuff, as you said, with glue and scratching, and even humidity related stuff as well, where it's there's a bit of humidity build up in there. And at this stage, I don't think I'm going to be pushing any of my PC ones to be replaced. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with them.
Yeah, and look, Glenn just made a good comment here. I don't know if all the message will get there, but it might protect it better in transit and production. Look, you're probably right. I guess the cards were made to fit the 180.1 touch. Is it actually only a 170 or 155? Who knows? I guess that's probably going to be a learning lesson, and also something that Select are obviously creating their own range of plastic and protection wear. So in the future, you might find completely custom-sized cards that are made to fit protective wear that they are going to make themselves. So that's a good point, Glenn. That's something I'm sure Select will probably look at. I saw someone else mention something before. I'm not going to post it up, but we're not sitting here just going positive, positive, positive. We're pretty balanced here, and we will call things out that we think are good or bad, just as we are now about the damage. So don't think that we're just sitting here with goggles on. We cover all issues here. So look, obviously I had some pretty detailed conversations with Select this week, and I know personally I've been getting lots of questions, and I'm sure you have been too, Adam.
Yeah.
So Select have informed me and certainly given me permission to pass this on the show, is that they will inspect and review all cards that are sent in with suspected damage or any issues. A couple of things to note. Now, first of all, if the void sticker is removed from that one touch, they will not inspect and they will not replace. So please understand that if you take that sticker off and you take the card out of the one touch, they will not be able to help you at all. The second most important thing about this is, as per the Select website, there is 14 days to return a card that has any damage on it. Obviously, 14 days is around Wednesday next week, somewhere in that ballpark. So if you have got boxes that you want to open or you have cards that you want to send back, I advise you to email Select. Don't call them, email them. Robbie, who does an amazing job there. And I just want to pause for a second and say that, Robbie takes a fair brunt of all the customer interaction, both positive and negative, at Select. And she is professional and does an amazing job. And we've just lost Jenks again. Clearly his internet is horrible. But just remember that, people can get frustrated, and you can get frustrated, especially if there is damage on a card or something hasn't worked out. So reach out to Robbie, shoot her an email, be nice to her, and she will do her best to make sure you're looked after and get your card replaced. I'd be really disappointed by the community if, she certainly isn't being treated with the respect that she's due, because, she does an amazing job, and we don't work for Select. We don't have any association with them. But yeah, credit where credit is due. She does a really good job. So if you want to reach out to Robbie via email or via the contact form on their website, make sure you do it by next Wednesday. She will offer a little bit of a grace period, but they're pretty firm on their rules, and they want to get a good gauge of what product has been damaged and what product potentially needs to be replaced and fixed. And that will certainly be done sometime after Christmas. Now, I must stress that it is about 6 months to get a card replaced. We could probably have a whole conversation about how that impacts the market and things like that with a whole batch of cards not available. But if you've got a card that is a PC card that you're probably never going to sell and you want it to be in mint condition, well, get it replaced. If it's a card that you're probably going to flip or sell later on or do something with, well, I probably lean to not worrying about it, because there's so many cards that are not perfect. And that's certainly something that the NBA community is very, very aware of. So yeah, make sure you reach out to Robbie via email by next Wednesday and let her know that you've got an issue with one of your cards. She'll give you directions on what to do with it and how to get it looked after. But Select is certainly here to help, and she's certainly here to help. So make sure you make sure you get it done.
Yeah, and that's on the info email address that's on the website. I think it's info@selectaustralia.com.au.
Yeah. And Justin, look, time, it's not running out. She said that she will have a little bit of leeway for people that are delayed, and obviously they can see at their end when boxes are arriving and things like that. So, but don't expect to be buying and selling a million cards via email in the groups and then going and sending them in, because it's not going to happen.
Sorry, I can see a couple of comments there saying about the border damage, and I can see Scott and Don having a bit of a conversation in the comments, and exactly right. So I actually I took the seal off one of my cards, and once I opened it up, what I thought was scuff marks around the gold border were not. It was just like, I don't even know what it was, whether, as I said, it was from the humidity or it was fingerprint or something like that. I sort of just wiped it with my cotton t-shirt, and it just looked back to sort of like a mint shiny condition. So it's risky to open it up. That's the only problem. I took the punt on it. If you want to send it back, basically, then you can't really break the sticker, so to speak. However, maybe email, say this is what it looks like, send a photo. Do you approve me to open the sticker so I can look inside the case? So then at least they know you've reported potential damage before you've broken the seal.
Yeah, and that's probably what I suggest. And look, obviously, that's a really good point. Just get in touch with Select as soon as possible, and explain your situation. And as I said, Robbie's very good at looking after all this, and she certainly will. Peter, you make an interesting point. It's not an issue that it's an expiry of the sticker effect on the seal box, but if you go and open a seal box in January and there is an issue with the card, it is very likely that you're going to find it harder to get it replaced because it's so long after the release date.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they won't replace it, and I'm not saying that they will, but there are rules and regulations on how they manage this. Otherwise, they can be getting requests months, years down the track, and it's just not possible to replace cards that late. So, again, reach out to Select, let them know your particular situation, and that's probably the best way to go about it. Just reading through the comments, heaps of comments coming through, guys, so please keep sending them through, obviously. Have we heard anyone doing a Brilliance master set? No, but I'm sure there is. Yeah, I'm sure someone will pop up soon enough about it.
I would suspect any full Select master set collectors would be doing this one as well. It wouldn't be cheap, I'll tell you that much. This would be an expensive set to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Michael, you're right. It's 14 days after delivery date. But as I said, a lot of those things can be tracked. But if you're buying boxes off eBay and stuff like that, you're going to find it a little bit tricky. But again, communicate with Select. They're here to help. They certainly want to help. But just do it sooner rather than later. That's the simple question.
Yeah.
Oh, good, Jonathan. Your gold borders look beautiful. Yeah, look, a lot of the cards do look fantastic. And as we mentioned, I had a little bit of guck on one of my North Melbourne cards, and I simply just sort of gave the one touch a little bit of a shake, and the actual mark moved, and that's how I realized that it was just a little bit of glue. Yeah, so don't stress. Again, communicate with Select. They might be able to advise you what to do. Yes, Cherry, it will be a fun chase getting those master sets. I'm sure you guys will get a few of them in the shop, so make sure you go and check out Cherry if you want to go and buy a few of them. Yes, Jace, it is cheaper than Supremacy at this stage, but there is only 42 cards. Okay, so
yeah, Jason, do you presuming maybe you might have a client or two that are looking for master sets? I'd be interested to know just in general terms. Because every card number to 50, 2,100 cards in the set. There ain't too many to go around, folks. Once they're all out and they're locked away in collections, it's like Supremacy. These are the type of the cards that will be last on the list of what people are going to get rid of if they ever have to sell their collections. So again, people can think some of the prices are high now. I can tell you after they dip, they're going to be going right back to where they've been and beyond. Like they'll go beyond the levels. A lot of them, I think the signatures are probably the undervalued cards still at the moment. Some of those signatures going in for $600 to $800. We're talking about double SIGs numbered to 50 on 180 point stock from a first ever of its kind release. That's a effectively could be a one of a kind and never to be released again. That's limited to 2,100 cards in the entire series. Effectively, if you were not around for the release in 2020, good luck to anyone in the future trying to acquire these cards. All they're going to get is the super, super high price stuff that sits on eBay, and eventually that sells and it's gone. And again, I think people might be thinking, I know I said something earlier, that there's just going to all of a sudden be this mega abundance of stock on eBay. It can't happen because there's not enough printed. There can't be 2,000 cards on eBay. There can't be 8,000 cards on eBay like there was of Prestige. It's not going to happen. There'll only ever be in the hundreds of cards on eBay. And once they're gone, they're generally gone. It's going to dry up pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, great. And I think it goes in dips, you know what I mean? as with every release, it comes out of the gate, goes high, everyone sells off. It might be a little bit seasonal with Christmas. A new release will come out next year. It'll still say flat, and then a comparable release, whether it's Brilliance 2 or Supremacy or whatever it might be, brings new people into the market. Suddenly they're like, oh, gee, I wish I had some of those gold bordered cards. If Select never do Brilliance again, well, I mean, it's yeah, it goes without saying that long term these cards will certainly be good in value. Shane, you've posted this comment about 3 or 4 times now on the thread, mate. We like to talk about everything. We don't ever proclaim to be experts about AFL and the complete history of the game. We're more than happy to get an expert on board to talk about older cards, which we know is your passion, and we know lots of people enjoy it. But mate, we're not football historians. We try to talk about things that people want to hear about. Send us a message if you want to suggest a couple of guests to come on. We're more than happy to interview people. But at the moment, let's talk about Brilliance. That's what everyone wants to talk about. That's current. People have got other questions. If you've got a specific question, post it. We'll talk about it. But don't just keep spam. Don't keep spamming us with the same comment, mate. It's useless.
I might just add to that as well that it is certainly our intention to get into the older cards as well. It's obviously we're just running from release after release after release since we've started the program. So everyone wants to talk about the new releases that are happening at the moment, but we're certainly conscious that there is a significant history of cards there.
Absolutely.
I do have a 63 Scanlons in that cabinet, just over my shoulder there as well. But I certainly don't consider myself qualified enough to be able to talk about the Scanlons era stuff or the Cornies era stuff or even really some of the older stuff. But I'm certainly conscious that we have a plethora of people involved, including Shane and I know Jason Ridgway. We've spoken a bit in the past as well, and there's plenty of guys who are really knowledgeable in that area. So we'll definitely we'll be focusing throughout probably that summer period as things start to slow down a little bit before the next release and the start of the season. We'll definitely get focused in on a few different bits and pieces in various episodes, and I'd like to think we'll probably be able to dedicate a full pod to some of that olden stuff and get some people in that know what they're talking about, because we certainly, all we can do is commentate on it, I suppose. At the moment we're not embedded enough in that area, but I'd certainly like to know more. But it's
and that's a great point.
Not easy.
I would love to learn more, and I think that's why I certainly don't proclaim to be an expert or a historian of the game. But gee, if you can suggest a couple of good guests for us to come on and talk about and educate not only myself, but the rest of the community, bring it on. That'd be beautiful. We'd love to learn more.
Absolutely. And I saw Aaron just mentioned something about grading up before as well. And it's something we've talked about a bit. And we'd planned a couple of weeks ago to do a really dedicated episode to grading. And then obviously Brilliance got announced and we've been a little bit sidetracked. But Aaron, it's a really good point you raise. And I think AJ and I keep talking behind, offline about the grading conversation with respect to AFL as well. And it's really interesting. It's almost like on a weekly basis, our opinions keep swaying backwards and forwards, where one week, like, I feel like grading could be really big and huge for AFL. But then again, I think like maybe it's something that people won't embrace. And it's also something that the market really needs to be educated about domestically. And it's tough. In saying that, we've reached out to the owner of Card Grading Australia, CGA, and unfortunately he can't come on the show, but he's certainly open to taking any viewer or listener questions that we have. So if anyone does have anything really specific that they do want to find out from that particular company, which is Card Grading Australia, let us know. Shoot it through, and we can get those and we'll get them up. But otherwise, we're certainly like a more vintage related episode. We're definitely going to do something dedicated to grading. And I know the Cherry Boys are watching at the moment.
Well, I was just going to say, like, we actually had a show planned to catch up with the Cherry guys, and then they dropped Brilliance on us. So it's certainly something we're both passionate about and want to talk about and learn about more. But I mean, as much as Janks would love to talk to you every single night doing this, I need to kind of keep him just settled to just one show a week. That's so, right. Over the summer months where it's a little bit quieter from AFL, we've got a bit of clear air. We will definitely run through some of those. There was a question there that I just missed, which I will try to find. Lots of people messaging about cards that they want. And look, I'll just touch on this. We're not going to do a specific unicorn hunting section tonight because probably under the true definition of unicorns, Brilliance doesn't really fall under that just yet. But what you guys are doing at the moment in chat is exactly what we wanted to happen later on in the show. If there are cards you are looking for or want to know if those cards have come out, post them. We've got, almost 100 people online at the moment watching the show. Someone might be able to tell you if a card is out or if they have them or they know where it is. Let's all help each other hopefully get the cards we want, whether it's sale or trade or whatever it is. So keep posting them in the comments. I won't put them all up on screen, but make sure you keep posting those because they're fantastic. Okay, so
there's a lot of comments here tonight. It's crazy.
Yeah. Jonathan, I'll just touch on this one quickly. Obviously, this is probably something that we will talk to the Cherry guys about more, and certainly Dale or Gray or G, if you're watching the show, you can respond to this. But I think that I know Cherry send everything registered and insured and all that kind of stuff to make sure nothing happens between them and BGS. But again, I'm not an expert on this. I'll get them to answer that. But the short answer is I think that they will probably trust it. Did that sound about right, Jenks?
Yeah, so I've only had one grading experience so far, which is with BGS, and it was via the Cherry guys. Big Dale over there. He looked after Jenks, and he sent off some cards to get graded, and boom! That's what he got back. That's what he got back. Yeah, there is a couple of 9s there, but let's not worry about the 9s. We'll just give the big boys. Oh, that's the wrong card. No, that's the right card. The camera's in reverse. Oh, it's that one.
Oh my god.
Well, that one's pretty nice too. No, but seriously, look, I think the key is there's services in Australia that do group setups. So like the Cherry guys, they send on a monthly basis. They have a relationship manager over at BGS. You provide the cards to Dale at Cherry. He deals with the process of cleaning and everything as well in the submission, and they look after it from that point. And once it arrives back in Australia, they're your point of contact, so you don't need to track anything. I feel sorry for that bloke because, mate, he gets hammered. There is a Facebook page dedicated to Dale's submissions, and wow, does he cop grief all day long. So
be gentle with Dale as well. He's one of the good guys. Be gentle with Dale. David, just a question that's popped up here. Does removing the void sticker affect the price in the future? I would say no, is my opinion.
Yeah, my opinion's no as well. My opinion is the void sticker looks really ugly, and as a result, I've already taken one off.
Yeah.
If you look where that pen is pointing now.
No, look again. It's all just look at me time here with
that's a bulldog with the sticker removed. Yeah, I think if the card's in good condition, there's no need to keep it on. In the same way, like captain signatures and stuff like that, I take them straight out of those. I can't stand having the stickers on things.
Yeah, I agree too. I mean, obviously, make sure your card's looking okay, and there aren't any issues, and you don't want to send it back to select, as what we just spoke about before. Once you're happy with your card, get it out of your one touch, let it breathe. I've seen some fantastic pictures actually this week. Don, actually, I don't know if he'll probably pop up in chat at some point, but Don pulled out his, I think it's jumper number, where was it? John Coleman, Coventry? I can't remember. It's the Essendon one anyway. It's been a long week. And he had it out on a stand with no cover. Oh my God, it looked awesome. It looked absolutely awesome. Yeah. It's really good. Actually, Sean, that's a good question. Is it the same for the showstopper stickers? Mate, if you're keeping your showstopper and it's deep in your PC up on a shelf and you're not planning to sell it, geez, rip that sticker off. They look bloody beautiful with the sticker taken off. But if you think they pop
a lot more. That sticker, it definitely covers over the light. But yeah, I'm of the same mentality. Like the ones I've got in the cabinet as well, I peeled them, and my thought process is they're sitting in there, they're not moving anywhere or anything.
Yep.
But I do have a couple of other ones in my collection that are not on display, which still have the stickers on them in one touches, and I'm not intent on taking them off at this point.
Yeah, definitely the showstoppers I have that, are not Richmond and not in PC. I definitely keep the stickers on them. They just if you're ever going to mail them, whether they're in a toppy, or we certainly don't suggest mailing in a one touch, but any protection you can have to give that good experience to someone else, I think is really important.
Yeah. Hey, redemptions.
Mate, that's you read my mind. It's as though you've been sitting here involved in the whole show. I was
thinking about the sticker, because I was just thinking about the captain signature and the sticker, and I'm like, whoa.
Yep.
We've got an exclusive with respect to redemptions.
Yep.
Because AJ over here has been having a great chat with Select to find out all the inside info for all you lovely people out there. So take it away, AJ's exclusive.
Well, I mean, it's not so much exclusive, but it's just handy information to know. And I guess we've been asked a lot of questions about this. So obviously the 1st of December was the comment that was printed on the back of the card. At the moment, as pretty much 3 out of the 5 signature cards are back in hand, back in Sydney, ready to be dispatched and redeemed. I believe the Burgoyne one is en route. And obviously there's a slight delay with the Djakovic one. So we've been getting lots of questions about how you actually mail the redemption cards in. You do not have to mail them back in the gold box. You can either mail them back in the one touch, or obviously a top loader. Make sure that is, protected, because you are going to get sent back that card. You'll notice there is a drill hole, which they won't be able to hole punch. I imagine they're going to have to drill these ones. That will get sent back to you. Wrap it in a bit of bubble wrap, all the same ways you'd normally look after a card. And then Robbie and the team at Select will send you back your signed signature card in a gold box, I presume. I'm 90% sure that comes back in that. And then it will also send back in your redemption card too. And they're going to cover the cost of that post coming back. So don't send your card up to Sydney or down to Sydney or to Sydney or wherever you are just in a white envelope. Please follow all the steps that we've told you before about how to send a card. Make sure it's protected. Make sure you have your details there, and Select are aware of who is sending the card in to be redeemed. But that is now open. You can send your cards in now. Robbie will get them back to you as soon as possible. I believe Select will be closed a little bit over Christmas. So make sure, if you want the best chance possible to get your card back, get it up there now. I am seeing a couple of notes about the Lockie Neal and also the Brownlow predictor and also the Premiership predictors. My understanding is they are still not yet ready to be redeemed. That will most likely be end of December or January. As all the players were off playing and then delayed in the bubble, a lot of them have all gone off into different places around Australia, I guess. So I can't imagine they're going to get signed till everyone gets back to training, which is going to be earlier in the year. But we will certainly follow that up and have a definitive answer for everyone, either on our social channels or on the show next week. But short answer is get your redemptions back in now for Brilliance, for Brilliance, and they'll get back to you ASAP.
If anyone needs a refresher on how to pack and send to Select, just jump on our YouTube channel or jump on cardauthority.com.au, and there is a little mini cast of exactly how to pack and send and redeem all that stuff. So if you do need a refresher, just check that one out.
Matt, any word on the spelling mistake? Look, I mean, I haven't got a redemption card back yet. I will certainly ask them, but I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a funny story. There's not really much you can do if it's already been printed. Obviously they're not going to reprint the original redemption cards. Let's hope the signature card got proofed beforehand, but I mean, it's a little bit similar to the situation where a good friend of mine, Luke, over at Planet of the Breaks, is a huge Buddy Franklin fan. And I can say that he is still shattered to this day that on the back of his 300 case card, it says Buddy's only a one-time premiership player or something like that. And pretty much, sent a a 16-page message to Select demanding a reprint. And I think he even maybe contacted Buddy's manager at one point. He wasn't happy, but big shout out to Lukey out there. But look, sometimes these things happen. In the NBA, oh, here he is, not shattered, still filthy.
That's classic.
But I mean, look, even NBA, I think recently in a release, maybe Prism or something like that, there was a bloke that didn't even have his name printed. It was just a blank spot, and I'm sure someone might be able to tell us that. These things happen. It adds a little bit of character.
Lots of things
happen. It's just a bit of fun.
I think it could be Prestige 2010, which had the silver cards with the printed signatures. I think it was that series.
Good one, Kelly. I like that.
Yeah. There's a couple of these silver foil printed signatures that have the wrong player's actual signature on the card. It's a St Kilda one. I think it might have been Brendan Goddard has an entirely different person from another club signature on that card, which is pretty funny. Just before it disappears up all the millions of comments that are there, Glenn McInerney said something before. He said, did the silver showstoppers have a protective film on them? I've never had one. The whole reason why the gold ones in Prestige ended up with a film on them is because of the issues around the silver ones, Glenn. So there was big issues with those within the packets. The front of them was getting scratched by the cards and was basically getting scratched by anything that had touched the surface was really susceptible to scratching and light, hairline scratches. So,
Danny, I didn't know that as well. Prestige. Is Mark Lacrale's name spelled?
Yeah, Lacrale's spell name on the Supremacy book. I think you'll find probably every single series has spelling mistakes on it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, a lot of people look at a spelling mistake on a card and they're just like, oh, well, where's the quality control? How did someone not pick up on this? Well, what's crazy is the brain plays funny tricks on people, and it could go through 3 or 4 sets of eyes and you wouldn't even realize. Given my background is in music entertainment and concerts and events and tours, obviously over the years we produce artwork and that's how we advertise. And you would be amazed how many posters get through being proofread, or pieces of content go through so many different sets of eyes and fresh eyes for proofreading, and still there's an error on it that someone will pick up. It's very hard to get them through. But it's certainly frustrating, but it is what it is. Maybe it adds a bit of character too.
I was just going to say that it certainly adds a bit of character, and we can maybe even do an episode somewhere down the track about goofy things that are on cards. But don't lose too much sleep over it. Don't sweat the small stuff. Here we go. Let's be serious. No one would blink an eye if they misspelled Jack Steele. Careful. Yeah. So look, obviously, I can't stress more for people that have just tuned in at the moment. Make sure you touch base with Select if you've got any issues with the damage cards. Shoot Select an email, let them know your issue. Just try to get in touch with them over the next week or so, because you just don't want to put yourself in a nasty situation where perhaps you might not be able to get your card replaced because it's too long away. And also redemptions, doors are open, get them there. And we can't wait to see some SIGs. We haven't seen any of them. There was a fantastic photo that was circulating this week of the Lord brother. Yeah. Oh my God, that was awesome, where it had like all 50 cards out in front of them. That was awesome. So, we can't wait to see some of the photos.
Very amazing.
Another little thing, from when I was speaking to Select that they were talked about is that there was a lot of talk about bots last week, and also about multiple orders. And we touched on the show that, we did a little, or not we, hey, I'm not guilty here, but hey, Jenks did a little bit of market sort of research and tried to order 2 boxes under his son's name to see if it would actually get pulled up. And I had a little bit of a laugh with Robbie about this when I was talking to her this week, and she told me some of the processes she went through to make sure that she was making sure no one was taking advantage of the situation. And before all the comments light up, it's not a perfect scenario that if other people are going to order for people are going to get multiple boxes, that's fine. But what I really got out of not only the actions of when the release happened, but also what happened subsequently, is that Select really want this product to be in the hands of the collectors. And it's not that they're trying to discount what the stores are doing, but they really want the collectors to get as much of this as possible. So the fact that they put these things in place and the detail they went into to try to do the best thing they could, I think is fantastic. We talked a little bit about bots, about how the situation could get solved. And they're actively working, which we kind of suspected last week on the show, with Shopify and their IT department about how they can put things in place for future releases to actually get some of these bots filtered away. And I know a few people have messaged us saying, why don't they put a capture code or one of those sorts of things? I don't know if it's that simple. I'm not an IT guy. But just rest assured for everyone, for future releases, this is certainly something that they're looking into and they're very aware of. And they don't want people going and buying 100 boxes and flipping them a profit. They want these product to be in people's hands. So, we've had a lot of messages about it, but just certainly be rest assured that that is being looked at. Ben, Richmond Premiership signatures, we just talked about that a couple of minutes ago. Probably early next year, mate. All the footy guys are on break. It's really hard to get anything signed at the moment. So either shoot Select an email about that later in the year or probably wait till after Christmas.
Yeah. Just on that bot thing, it's not mutually exclusive to Select and this release. This is literally every day, thousands and thousands of websites are selling products which people are using bots and scripts and whatever they can to gain advantage to purchase those products. So Shopify, which is ultimately the back-end system that provides the checkout and the transactions, I'm sure will continue to do whatever they can to mitigate it, but this is part of how things operate now. And everyone just has to be a bit more conscious of it and a bit more on the ball with it. In saying all that, again, I found it, I didn't have any issues getting, and as far as the vast majority of people seem to be able to get it as well. So I think they did as good a job as what they could have, and it's impressive that they're continuing to ask for further feedback to strive to do better and achieve more next time. So
and
Aaron, credit to them for trying.
And Aaron, look, it's you might be right. It might be a simple math equation, but what a lot of people don't understand, and I'm happy to explain it, is that Select have a website that's built on the Shopify platform. When you go and click something, add it to the cart, fill in your name and address, all that kind of stuff, and then you click with the continue to payment or whatever the wording is, that then actually takes you into a Shopify payment processing area. Select don't actually process the credit cards. It all gets done sort of by a third party through Select. So anything at that checkout phase probably needs to be implemented at a Shopify level, not so much a Select level. But I can assure you they're definitely looking at all those avenues to hopefully improve the process for the future. And that's all we can really ask.
Yeah.
A couple of questions coming through from Cremona. Well done. That's an amazing set if you put that together. I don't know many people that would have a set of green Prestige. James, what do you reckon? Maybe one or two at best.
Full green sets of Prestige. The master set collectors would have them. So there definitely be a few of those full sets. And I think it was always talked about that the red and green parallel sets would probably be subsets that people would try and achieve. And I think if you went early enough on it, you could probably pull it off. Pretty sure Michael Hobbs has the full green Prestige set. Well, he definitely has a full set.
But well done, Jace. That's a fantastic achievement.
That's a massive achievement. I just saw someone commented above saying it was really impressed. They're impressed that Select is starting to embrace Instagram and social media and all that sort of stuff. And that's obviously something that all the international manufacturers, especially Tops does it really, really well. Panini does it really well too. But it's really, it's been really impressive to see Select finally step up to the plate in that respect, because to be honest with you, I've always been very critical of their marketing or lack of marketing in terms of embracing modern forms of media and communication. And I think really, to be honest with you, up until this release, everything that they've done to market their product has been quite antiquated. And it hasn't moved with the times, and where I'm sure it was fucking amazing and the most modern, coolest shit that they were doing probably back in the late 90s and early 2000s. Well, from what I've seen over the last few years, there was a real lack of promotion, marketing, and communication. What they did for this release, everything from announcing an announcement to generate hype and viewership for an actual announcement, was really smart play. The level of professionalism, as we discussed on the last episode, with skinning the screen, high quality broadcast, through to having a really good personality and someone that was really great in front of the camera, that also knew their shit and was able to talk about the product and present the product really well. The new website, there's just a whole variety of different stuff, and I think they've finally probably come of age. They've moved into the modern era of how to engage with your customers and your clientele and your collectors and the hobby in this case. So yeah, good on them.
Absolutely. And look, as I mentioned, I just showed before, Lynn Gilmartin was fantastic for the launch video. As I said, I've known Lynn for many, many years through previous industries, and she is amazing and an absolute professional at what she does. So hopefully she can be a real shining light on future previews and future things that they do with Select. Obviously, there's going to be lots of releases next year, lots of exciting things. I might even reach out to her. I know she spends a little bit of time, or a lot of time, in America now for the States. Guys, you don't realize she's the anchor of the World Poker Tour, the WPT. So if you want to go and see out some of her other work, you can go and check her on Fox Sports. But we might reach out and see if we can get her on the show, and if she's going to be the new face of Select, it'd be great to have a chat with her. Okay. Yeah, look, the feedback coming through all the comments here is, Select really have done a great job. And as we've said the last couple of weeks multiple times, Select have done a brilliant job. We're always happy to call them out on things that might not be great, but this overall has been a fantastic release and a really good effort from everyone involved. So, really good. Really good. Now, we're coming to the end of the show, but Jenks, we've spoken a little bit, and there's been some exciting things going on with one of the ventures that you're involved in, Really Good Vibes, RGV, and you've got an exciting announcement that you want to share with the Card Authority listeners and viewers.
Yes, I have been given approval by the rest of the RGV crew that we are allowed to announce tonight that the reason I've been having technical issues earlier in the show is because I've had a whole bunch of new hardware being set up here, and that's why the image right now is much crisper than it was, and probably the lighting looks a lot better and everything looks a lot better. So this room has been getting redone, not just for my cabinets and my cards and for the Card Authority broadcast, but also because we are finally, at the request of many, many people and the constant messages that keep hitting my inbox and all the other admins' inbox and all the other people involved, RGV will officially be starting breaks over the coming days. So for those that want to check it out, there is a page at the moment. You should be able to search for it. It's called RGV Breaks Coming Soon. You can sign up to that page, and you guys will obviously be on there before the general public knows about it. It hasn't been advertised yet, but that is coming, and that's really exciting. And as I said, I'm someone, as everyone knows, that's participated at a huge level in breaks and with all the breaks and all the different breakers and break pages, especially over the last couple of years. And plenty of people have seen me over the last few months, certainly with all these releases. And, there's a lot of conjecture about the positives and negatives with respect to breaks, but I think we've always taken a position, or I've always taken a personal position, that it's just another element to what is a real growing marketplace and a growing segment. And as much as people may dislike certain elements of what breaks do and the attributes of breaks, they are actually becoming more and more important with respect to maintaining the hobby and keeping things moving within the hobby as well. And it's, what's quite amazing that I've noticed with regards to like AFL cards and the breaks and the break community in general is we've probably got 2/3 of the AFL breakers are watching this right now or up in our comments at the moment. And it's amazing the camaraderie and the way how, everyone engages so well and almost work together to make sure that the end consumer, the hobbyists, the collectors are getting the most out of it. And everyone continues to strive to achieve, to do more. And I know that all the breakers speak to each other and give each other varying bits of advice and stuff like that. And certainly I've been involved in a lot of conversations with all them as well. So I really do think that the breaking side of things is here to stay long term. With this hobby, it's the physicality of trading cards doesn't so much exist anymore. So the way people interact with each other now are through social engagement on community platforms such as Really Good Vibes and all the other trade sales and talking pages, but also the transactional stuff that takes place with respects to breaks and the entertainment and the banter. And the same applies with raffles, randoms, razzes, whatever you want to call them as well. So again, I'm expecting there's always going to be conjecture, and we've always talked about it before. And this is a decision that we've made recently after really just having just a huge amount of requests for months and months and months to be able to do it. So we certainly looked at the resources we had and thought that, why not give it a shot? Let's see what we can do for everyone. We've got our processes really locked down with respect to RGV. We're extremely transparent and all that sort of stuff. So we'll give it a bit of a whack and we'll see what happens. So yeah, anyone that wants to jump on board there, the first breaks will be listing in the next couple of days, but you can head on over to the coming soon page. RGV breaks coming soon. All members currently of RGV, Card Authority, and Really Good Vibes have an auto approval mechanism on entry as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, look, and it's fantastic that you guys, obviously know firsthand how creditable, all of RGV and Really Good Vibes are. But more to the point, just the positive things you're going to try to do for the community. So it's fantastic that you guys are all jumping on board. We'll certainly talk about it further in the future as we promote plenty of breakers here. So it's we don't really show any favors. But Matt, Card Authority, and I can't speak for RGV, but neither of us are affiliated with Select. We're completely neutral. We think it's better that way. We obviously speak to all the parties and all the industry, breakers, manufacturers, retail outlets. We speak to everybody. We help everybody, but we're neutral with Switzerland. So
yeah.
But anyway,
and we certainly try and provide a really balanced commentary with everything as well. And you can probably appreciate at certain times relationships get strained based on what's happening in the marketplace and stuff as well. So we certainly don't have any affiliation or ties to any of the manufacturers or anything. And with that being said as well, it's all about what's out there, I suppose, for us to be able to talk about. So if other manufacturers in the market, or there's other things in the market for us to be able to talk about, we'll certainly give our thoughts, opinion, and commentary on it. And
yep.
I would like to think with what's going on with trading cards, the only other operator and only other licensee in the space, Team Coach, could probably come out and do something to make their item maybe more collectible again, and something that resonates with the collectors market. Because a lot of people probably don't realize, especially in the modern collectors, that Team Coach used to be extraordinarily collectible. Like some of the Team Coach cards went for a lot more money than what Select cards did. However, that company sort of started to shift into a mass market position and started to really utilize technology with respect to the gaming and the online aspect of and how to engage kids. And what everyone, I suppose, needs to remember at a really broad level, and whether it's Select or it's Team Coach or it's a merchandiser or whoever it is, anyone that holds an AFL license, the intent of the AFL there is not just to sell a product to generate revenue. It's to get people on board with the culture of the AFL and supporting the AFL, and then maintaining those people for prolonged periods of time and for generations. So how do they appeal to children? How do they appeal to teenagers? How do they appeal to adults? How do they appeal to older generations of people as well? So I think all the different cards obviously have their place. Select is something that very much appeals to predominantly a hobby market, and they all obviously have a Series 1 product which is designed to reach a mass market, whereas Team Coach is a bit the opposite. They are synonymous with kids and with young people. And as you know, AJ, with your own kids, like my kids at school, Team Coach is what they're playing with in the playground and the classroom and stuff like that. And Dylan, my son, it's rare for any of these kids to even know what Select is. I think Select probably took a bit of ground this year and managed to get in more amongst the kids a little bit this time around. just because cards blew up so much, and then people were just looking for random stuff. But otherwise, it's been Tenko's been huge with the kids. So, I would say with the hobby and the way it is, there should be some pretty cool things going on, I would like to think.
Yeah, nice. And so obviously a question here from Daniel, will RGV only be doing AFL breaks, or will they be looking at other sports?
Look, the intent for RGV at this stage, Daniel, is to really focus on AFL and where our expertise in our market is from the get-go. But I'm not going to say that the door isn't open for many other things to take place, and whether that's other sports or non-sport related cards or memorabilia, whatever. It could be anything. And to be clear as well, like with RGV, randomly generated victories, it's been running for about 6 months, and the raffle page, the random page, has been running for about 6 months, and it's all been AFL. But there's always been an intent for us to branch that out into other areas. There's so much involved in it, and the demand is so significant within this market for AFL. It's very hard to just implement those other things quickly. So we're trying to get things right in certain areas to begin with, and not just go out and try and do everything all at once. We want to help grow the market in a lot of areas, not just take advantage of the market. That whole for collectors, by collectors, and where it all really began is really important to the whole ethos of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Well done, guys. We look forward to seeing the progress. Obviously, I'll be a supporter and a fan, as always, as I'm sure a lot of people will. Look, I think it's probably a good time to wrap up the show. We've managed to cut it down under 70 minutes here. This is a small miracle. I guess you did disconnect 3 times.
Yeah, that's right. I probably had 3 minutes of disconnect.
Well, and that probably put the brakes on you a few times. Look, just one final thing, guys. It's an emotional time, and I know, Jenks, you've mentioned this a couple of times. New releases are always emotional. Everyone wants everything. Some people can't get it, whether it's sealed stock or the cards they want. Just be nice to each other. Be fair. Be human. You know what I mean? There's no need to be shit, is probably the nice way of saying it. Yeah. So just treat people the way you want to be treated. Everyone's trying to collect here. Everyone's trying to do their own thing. And be nice to everyone. It costs you nothing. Absolutely costs you nothing. So keep that in mind.
New releases. You see the best and worst of people, and that's it. Exactly as you said. Everyone has different circumstances as well, and is in a different position, and it's easy to misjudge or misread or misinterpret something, especially over the internet. So as you said, it's all. We don't just collect the physical piece of the cardboard. It's about the journey that gets us there, and we all want to be able to enjoy that journey as well. So keep on keeping on. What a time to be alive.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in as always. Stay tuned to our social channels. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a subscribe, or if you're on Spotify or iTunes or any of those things, make sure you give us a follow. But as always, stay tuned to the Card Authority website where you can get all our previous episodes. Stay tuned to Facebook. Just keep in touch. And if there's anything we can do, we're always here, both Jenks and I. Jenks, excellent. As always, love the bright white room. Looks like some exciting things are going to be happening there in the future.
I think we're going to get some Card Authority decals across the wall and the back and stuff like that. We're going to make it look really nice. We're going to make that wall pop. We're going to get some real lighting. We're going to do it all, and we're going to do it on a real tight budget. That's what they say, balling on a budget. All right, signing off. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your support, everyone. It's been amazing, and I can tell by the comments tonight we're going to hit a record again with this episode after last week's one as well, and it's just, I don't know. I'm pretty blown away, to be honest, and we're supposed to be signing off here, but to give you guys a bit of an idea, across all the platforms where Card Authority sits, we're doing 3,000 plus unique listeners and viewers an episode at the moment. And if that's not a testament to the strength of the hobby, it's not about us, and it's not about the show necessarily. It's about the fact that there are 3,000 plus people every single week that want to hear about trading cards and trading cards in Australia. And that is just an amazing thing. And it's a sign of the times, and it keeps going up. And I wouldn't listen to anyone that's telling you, the hobby's sinking, it's falling apart, all this sort of stuff. It's bullshit. We look at the numbers, we look at the metrics, we look at the data. That's it's a load of crap. It's all on the up and up. Thank you again to everyone. Thanks for your support. Thanks for getting involved, and we'll catch you on the next episode.